a little while ago, and by a little while, I mean after sitc, which is over a month ago, Savannah Brown tweeted some tweets wherein she talked about being unsure as to whether anyone could get anything out of meeting creators at things like sitc or vidcon, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to go again because she felt like that you couldn't possibly get something out of it as a viewer. Several creators chimed into this discussion, and one of them was Daniel J Layton, and he said something along the lines that he'd met a lot of different people during the weekend who seemed to be expecting different things from him. Some would be a quick hug and a selfie, others wanted to have a conversation, and he was happy to provide whichever one of those people wanted. And he felt like each person seemed like to get something out of it. At the time, I tweeted Savannah a very short response, which I will get back to at the end. But after thinking it through, I wanted to give my own thoughts, because I do agree with Daniel J Layton, and this is why. I can categorize the interactions I've had with creators at conventions into 3 categories. The first one being I'm gonna go up and say something and get a quick selfie and you sign something for me and that was it. Not much of a connection was created. I didn't get much out of it, but you seem like a nice person type of thing. Thankfully, this hasn't happened very often, but it seems to be like a common thing when there's less time. And all that means for me is that maybe I won't go up to them next year because we didn't really have anything to talk about. Second form of interaction has really only happened with one person. That was Dodie. And this is what I would call the more typical idol interaction. Now, I don't want to say I idolize Dodie, because I don't. As in, I know that she's a human and not this unfallible human, like, superguard thing. You know what I mean? But she is a person who has inspired me very much. And I know that the circumstances I was meeting her under didn't allow for much conversation, because there was a lot of people wanting to say hi to her and very little time. So I went into this with the mindset of, I want to thank her for what she's done for me and for inspiring me and the impact she's had on me, and that will be enough. Now, why this is the case with Dodie and it wasn't with the other people in the first category of interactions, I don't know. There's probably some kind of really interesting psychological analysis you can make on that, but I haven't done that or have had the time to do that, so that's a different conversation for a different time. Now, the third type of interaction is by far my favorite, and the one I've had with the most people, thankfully, at least at events like sitc. And that is where there seems to be some type of reciprocation in the conversation, or an actual conversation. The first time this happened was with Sammy Paul, and it was actually the first year I went to sitc and the first person I talked to, I think. And it was something as simple as asking me how I was and what I was looking forward to most at sitc. And Sammy does this really well. He's just asking small talk questions, but seeming genuinely interested in the answers he gets, as well as taking at least what I've said about his films and elaborating on it as if we were having an actual conversation. In that moment, that connection felt genuine, and like meeting another person in a conversation about something you're both passionate about is great, and it definitely gives me something in form of the interaction. Daniel J Layton also did this, and he actually remembered me and my friend group from last year because we kind of met through him and Twitter and all that, and we actually went up to him the day after as well, and he was like, oh, how's today compared to yesterday? He asked about a panel we went to see, and we were having a little back and forth and a genuine conversation. And those type of interactions really remind me that these people that I look up to for the work they create are just human. They're just like me, except they've been doing this longer and they're better at it and also more successful. But in all, we're just humans. And that is the type of conversation or interaction that drives me to make things. To know that these humans who are just humans can make things that inspired me, and I could, with hard work, potentially be in a position where I could inspire others. Savannah Brown was also one of these people who asked me a question. She asked me about VidCon and how I felt that compared to sitc, and we had a little talk about that. And again, it felt genuine, and I felt heard, and it felt like she wanted to talk to me. So that little thing about being asked a question and having a proper conversation instead of me just saying my thing really makes these interactions so much worth it. However, the thing I originally said to Savannah is that any type of interaction I have with a creator whose work I admire reminds me that they are human. And that is so important to me, to remember that just because I watch their things on a screen, it doesn't mean that they aren't complicated, in-depth humans with problems and struggles of their own. They aren't people that I should put on a pedestal or idolize. And those moments really hit that home for me. The third type of interaction more so than the others, but all of them do this to me because I see them and I see how they react, and I can relate to that from my own experience with meeting people. Some people you click with, and some people you don't. And really, I think that events like sitc, where you can walk up to people behind their merch booth or as they walk around on the floor, helps us minimize this whole creator-viewer divide thing. And I think it's very important that we as a viewer remember that the YouTubers are humans, and also as small creators, that the bigger creators are also human, and that they've started where we are. Like I said, we're doing the same thing. We're all making things and uploading onto this little weird website and hoping that somebody watches it. And it's the same reason, I think, why YouTube is so popular, because by watching these little moments or parts of people's brains, you feel like you connect to another human. And the same happens when you have a conversation about something you can both relate to, whether it be because they created it or because you enjoyed it. So in short, yes, I do get something out of meeting these people, no matter how. Even, I think, if someone was really rude to me, it would still remind me that people are human, that I shouldn't idolize them and their personalities, but just admire their work. Because that's what they are. They're creators. They create things which I consume. Now, this is all part of a conversation which I am very interested in. It's about YouTube culture and YouTube creator-viewer divide and all of that. So if you have any thoughts at all about this subject, please put them in the comments down below and let's have a little chat about it. And until next time, I hope you have wonderful days full of interesting interactions with other human beings. Bye!